Good day. My name is Barry Thornton. I really want to talk to you about something that so many people suffer with, and that is heart problems. Now, I have suffered with arrhythmia all my life, but to a lesser degree when I was younger, and I never let it worry me because I used to still do the gym and could lift more weights than anybody. I still used to go swimming, racing. I used to climb mountains. We'd go running up and down the beach. We'd surf, we'd sail, and that was the sort of life I had. So it was there, but it wasn't worrying me. But when I got older, about probably about 19, just before 1996, I noticed that I was under pressure because I'd returned to this country from where I'd been living. And you're under a lot of pressure. You're trying to start businesses, you're trying to get to know things, you're trying to do things, and you're working long hours, and the pressure's on you. And you know what? I suddenly found that I had arrhythmia in a really big way. It was actually moving me up and down the bed, and it really got worse, and it got worse. And I thought, boy, I better go and see, because it actually affects you mentally, to tell you the truth. You know, your mental state actually, it's like being almost numb up there sometimes. You feel like you've got a rock up there rather than a brain, actually. And I went to see the doctors, and then they said, oh, you've got to actually be fully checked out. So I went along to the hospitals, and it was a very, very serious procedure. It just went on for months as they did all these different tests, and they called me and they told me that I had to have the following done. I had to actually have my heart stopped and then restarted so they get the rhythm back. I had to then go on to all these terrible drugs, etc., for the rest of my life. Otherwise, I would die. It was just that simple. If I didn't get the arrhythmia stopped by the operation to stop and restart the heart and then do the rest, I would die. And I had 4 blood clots, and it was a really bad prognosis, quite frankly. In any event, I went home and I was a bit depressed. And as it would happen, a man came across the country to see me a few days later, and he chatted to me, and I told him. He asked me about my South African life, and I told him about all the sport and everything I'd done. And he said, "You know what your problem is? You sweated electrolytes out." He said, "You need selenium. It's just that simple." So I started to take selenium in minerals, that's right, and gosh, it sorted me out, and it was fine. And then I found I had to take more, and then I took things like omega oils, etc., and they helped a lot. Then this seemed to solve everything, and provided I did this, the arrhythmia went away and the heart problems went away. But um, about 4 months ago, I suddenly found that even though I was taking more and more of these things, the results were not as good as they were, and it was starting to come back. And then I started gym, and that seemed to trigger it off badly. And so I had to get answers, and I actually prayed about it. And then the very next day, a reporter arrived on this computer here, and it told me that I should, in actual fact, look at CoQ10. So I actually went out immediately and bought CoQ10 that was available, and took it. And I found no real big response to that. And I bought a whole lot of other stuff that went with it, and it didn't really work that well. And I still found I still had the arrhythmia. It was still bad no matter what I did. It just seemed to continue. So the next thing I did, I went to this computer and I looked over it again, and I found a report that arrived sort of the next day after I prayed again, and this one told me what type of CoQ10 I needed. So I went and bought. Well, I had to order it actually over the email, and it arrived sort of the next day. And this was not the type I'd actually had, which was the coenzyme ubiquinol, but I got ubiquinol, and that is what I bought. The result was that within a few days, this whole rhythmia thing had gone away, and it's been like that ever since. I don't even know I've got a heart again. And that's how it was before when I was taking the selenium, and I continue, but it just seemed to lose its effectiveness. And that is because as you get older, various things happen. Now, the reason why we use the nol, is because it is as you get older, your ability to metabolize ubiquinol is not there, and that was why it wasn't giving me the result. It might have worked on say, a younger person, but it didn't work on an older person, such as myself. So this particular stuff that I got works very, very well. And I would honestly suggest that you pay a visit to this site here. If you can see it, it's called www.arrhythmia, arrhythmia hyphen heart, HEART.com. That's www.arrhythmia arrhythmia-heart.com, and there you'll get more information on this, because we're going to put this out because there's so many people who are suffering from this problem, and I've told a lot of people about this, and the net result is there have been just a few who've actually listened. But I have done, I've been very much a believer in natural health products for many years, and I really do urge you to look at this. It won't hurt anything, but it will certainly help you, and it will certainly, as far as I can see, and by the way, thousands of reports, medical reports, research reports support it. Thank you very much for listening.